Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 15 of the Unseen Strands podcast, a crochet and fiber arts related podcast where I, your host Mo, am visually impaired and will be sharing with you strands of my life. I come to you from central Iowa, where I live with my 4 boys, my husband, our 2 cats, and our dog. I'd like to say welcome back to any of our returning viewers and a hearty welcome to any new watchers. So today I was just going to share a quick little update since I only have 3 projects to share with you, but I wanted to get these done, so I had an in progress because I don't think, well, one of them you have seen before but not in its current state, I guess. And the other 2, I wanted to at least share an in progress photo before they're a finished object photo. And actually the thing that I was working on, the couple things I guess, that I was working on in the last episode, even though it's only been a week, I haven't touched in the last week, so I'm not going to share those with you. But anyways, to start us off, so I'm going to title this something about racing to the finish line because on, well, the Crafty Chat Corner of Craft podcast with Hannah, I mean, she's got 50,000 because that's what this is about, I think. She did a cowl, and it's a sweater cowl. And I've totally put off making a sweater to the last minute because, as one does. And so, yeah, on Friday night, I started the sweater. I have already committed to making this sweater back. Well, I ordered the yarn back in my Michaels haul at the end of April. So I've committed to it since way back then, but I just haven't actually started it. So I finally started on Friday. I am crocheting another version of the lacy swing cardigan. Sorry, that was Sam. I have walkie-talkies so that when they leave the house, they can take one with them. They're not very good at remembering that, but I did get him to do it today, and yeah, I have the walkie-talkie by the microphone, so you probably heard that. Anyways, so I'm making the lacy swing cardigan. I made this, my original one, back in March, and I guess it was March. That's another reason that Jeremy's birthday got so delayed, because we went up there in March for my nephew's birthday, which is in February. Anyway, so sidetracked note. That was just kind of interesting information for you. Yeah, so I committed to making my friend one. She's one of my best friends, and I decided to make her one. She said something about, oh, that would be great in purples. So I had ordered the purple dip-dyed yarn thinking it would just be purple, and this really more airs on the side of pink. But I think it's actually still coming out really nice looking. I didn't think it was going to. I thought it was going to look kind of weird, but I think it's coming out okay. I did one sleeve because I needed to cut the yarn, and I'm like, I'll just go ahead and do a sleeve and see how that's going to work. And currently I'm working on the other sleeve, so that's kind of my spaciness. Like right now I'm working on the decrease, and so I'm trying to talk and decrease and pay attention at the same time, which isn't exactly the smartest thing for one to do. But yeah, I'm trying to get this done for Hannah's Crafty Chat podcast because that one ends on the 17th. Now, I'm hoping that she gives us till the end of the 17th to put in our entries because, yeah, I might be able to finish this in time, and I might not because, yeah, not only am I racing to try to finish this cardigan, but I'm trying to potty train the littles. So, yeah, it involves lots of throwing everything I'm doing down to take them to the bathroom, and semi-successful. Zane has gone to the bathroom in the morning, only in the morning, for 3 out of the last 4. He did 2 in a row, then he skipped yesterday, and he went again this morning. And then Leo, who was my star at the beginning of the summer, and then we got too busy for me to really focus on potty training, has just kind of decided to quit caring, and yeah, hasn't gone again since we've restarted, but that doesn't mean he can't sit on the potty. So yeah, so I am trying to work on the sweater and potty train, but this is a really fairly mindless project to work on, except for the decrease and increase for the cap sleeve, which is what I said I'm currently working on. So yeah, I picked the not mindless part to be working on while recording, because I'm a genius like that. But I wanted to make sure that I made the cap sleeve out of the same skein, and I'm starting to run out of this skein, and so I'm like, I really need to make the second sleeve before I run out of yarn. And this is with I think this is a DK weight yarn, I'm fairly certain, and it was a Michael's yarn. I don't remember the exact variety, except it was a baby yarn. I'll look it up at some point, and it will be in my project page when I get one up, but I don't currently have one up yet for it. None of this is in my project notes on Ravelry, because I haven't got around to it since I started everything between Friday and today is Wednesday. So yeah, only a few days. But I'm working it with an F hook, which is the recommended hook. I'm not sure if that is the recommended yarn. This pattern is for the Cotton Fair, which is a premier yarn. And I can't remember what weight that yarn is. I just thought this would be comparable. And it came out to measure out about the same, so it's not too off, because I think I don't know. It's not too off, so, oh, and look at me. I'm doing the wrong stitch pattern. Told you guys, don't do your decrease pattern while recording. But yeah, it uses an F hook, and well, it's supposed to use the Cotton Fair. Mine is red with the Cotton Fair yarn. And mine is a larger size, and this is like the extra small size because my friend is gotten super fitnessy, and so she's not a fluffy grown-up like most of us mothers. So yeah, so I am working on this. I am hoping to get it done in the next 2 days. So we'll see, because today is the 15th, and hopefully I can get it entered by the 17th, because I don't know if she's ending it at midnight on the 16th, and she's UK, so now what's the deal? That's kind of an abrupt jump out of your kennel. But yeah, she's in the UK, so I really need to have this done by tomorrow. So we're getting there. I still have, well, I didn't take a front shot. I took a picture of the back because I have it closed and hooked together in the front just because it's easier to manage, which is kind of a tip that I should share sometime. But since I've gotten stitch markers, I've kind of clipped things together because it makes it a lot less bulky and harder to mess with, or easier to mess with, instead of, because it kind of condenses everything down with lots less things. So even though this doesn't close in the front, how it's being gathered currently, it's closed in the front, kind of. And that's actually my stitch marker for my 10-inch mark or my 100th stitch, which kind of came out to the same point. And so from that marker, I need to go 17 rounds of the repeat, or repeats of the repeat, and I think I'm at about 9. So yeah, and then I still have the around the front shaping and things, so let's hope that I can finish this by the end of tomorrow. That's my goal anyways. Cross your fingers. And in other news, I have no other crochet works in progress. I'm still working on the scarf, but I haven't worked on it at least since Friday, and so I didn't have a new updated photo for you. But I had started my weaving, which in and of itself is kind of a humorous, and I should really take it out and just start over, but I'm not going to because I'm just going to use it for like a washing cloth. So really, what's it matter if it's not perfect? And it's my first time, so it shouldn't be perfect, right? So anyways, that's what I'm going with, that it's not supposed to be perfect. So we're going to let all its ugly imperfections just stand out and glare at you. So as you can tell, maybe from the photo, I actually have a string that broke because it had gotten loose, and then with the combing to try and flatten out the stuff, it actually broke under the tension, or it broke when I combed it. So yeah, that was fun. And that was within the last couple rows of going through. And my edges are way too tight and pulling it in, which is another reason that it broke. And what was the other thing? There was a third thing. Oh, I did make an error like halfway through what is done now, and there's like a stitch that isn't an extra one that isn't weaved in right, but I don't think you would notice that unless you were looking at it. And I notice it because I can feel it, but I wasn't going back for it. But yeah, so it's imperfect, but it's my first thing, so I'm gonna let it go. And this is just some scrap yarn. It's just some kind of sugars and cream or peaches and cream that was left over, little wad. I'd use probably the same color for a teething biscuit for the babies. So yeah, it's just a leftover ball, so that's what I was using for it. I really need to find something that will let me wad up the end of the yarn so I can carry more with the needle, but it has to be really flat for this kind of loom because I can't get it. The proper term is shuttle, which of course my friend told me that was visiting us, because I could not for the life of me think of what it was. But yeah, I need some way because all I have is the needle for this kind of loom, and that makes it really difficult to carry very long strings through because you just pull and pull forever. And even doubling up and whatever, then you've got to figure out which string is the string that you need to pull on to, you know, lengthen and shorten the ends. But I'm sure those of you that sew will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just gonna take a while. And I'm out of that yarn, which is why it stopped where it is. And I worked on that just Friday and Saturday. This is a project I can work on easier in bed. And so that's what I've been kind of doing, is doing a little bit in the bed because it's easier than trying to crochet in bed. I don't find it easy to crochet in bed, so I liked having the weaving because it was a little easier to do. And then I have, what was my other project? Oh, my spinning. So I'm trying to remember what I took pictures of, because I'm sorry, the pictures for some reason today, even though we don't have any worse light than usual, they seem even to me to be really fuzzy, so I know they're fuzzy to you. And maybe that's, I need to figure out how to reset the macro setting on my camera because I had to change out the batteries and I know it's like offset again. But I started plying. Actually, I did not start plying that before my last podcast. I started plying my Tour de Fleece spin, and I'm maybe halfway done with that. I am definitely going to run out of my blue bamboo before I run out of my flax merino silk spin. The Peter Iredale, which I kept calling the Caspiola. But yeah, I'm definitely going to run out of my blue bamboo first, and so I'm just kind of going to go till that runs out. But I started applying that, but now it's back on hold until I get the sweater done. So yeah, that's basically what I've been working on recently. The reasons that I've kind of switched projects, I needed to start the sweater so that I could measure it on my friend because she was coming to visit us, and so I started working on it the day before she came to visit us. And that's kind of why that got thrown out. And then I wanted, since it's not a super long workup, kind of wanted to work on it and see if I could get it done for the cow. Oh, and I did listen to a podcast today, even though I'm probably not going to get this episode for you guys up today. So it was the Faking Sanity podcast that had one of the Christmas alongs, and theirs actually ends tonight. So I need to make sure to get my Poison Ivy socks into the Christmas in July along. And then there was this sweater along, which was the Corner of Crafts celebration for her milestone. And so I'm going to try and get into that one. So yeah, just trying to get items in for all the cows. Okay guys, well I had a slight interruption and now I am done with the sleeves, so I can talk a little more openly, or I guess use a little more brain power, because I am back to the body of the sweater, which takes a lot less focus. I mean, I do have to switch stitches every other round, or other row, but otherwise fairly mindless and easy. So yeah, the only other things I kind of wanted to cover on was that I guess what I was doing over the past couple days was my friend was coming up with her family, and they stay at our house overnight, and we went to the state fair, and which is always, lots of fun for the kids, lots of grumping from Jeremy because he can't like anything that's not focused on him. Yeah, I know that people say girls are really dramatic, but my oldest, trying not to draw attention, he's not going to hear me. He's downstairs, but just in case he were to come up the stairs. But yeah, he's very girl-like in some of his attitude issues with things, and yeah, he really pulls down the mood of everyone, because if it wasn't focused on what he wanted to do, he was just a complete grump monster. And my friend even pointed it out once, and I'm just like, yeah, if other people notice, it's too much. But you try telling that to an 11-year-old. But we told him that his attitude is the problem since he was itty-bitty. Like, he didn't have a birthday one year because of his attitude issues, and that was like when he was 3 or 4. I mean, he wasn't very old. I guess maybe it was 5, because I think it was in kindergarten, because he looked like a cancer patient, although it could have been preschool. Yeah, he's really, really skinny. I mean, he always has been. And he got scissors and, cut at his hair, except for it was really nice and even, except for it was super short, so we had to have his grandma come in and cut it and shave it off. And yeah, he really looked like a cancer patient, which is really sad because he has really awesome hair. I've mentioned that before, but he won't let us do anything awesome with it, which is just disappointing. But we went to the state fair, and of course we went up to the fiber kind of, I think they call it threads and something, was just like the wing of the building that it was in. It was on a upper level, and we missed it last year, so but we went past, they just had a section that was all the spinning stuff, and my family and my friend's family thought that I need to enter things for next year, so we're going to see if I get the nerve to actually look up the details. I know I actually pulled up the rules and things for registering just to kind of see what it was this year, and it's like all the things on that floor was just all in one PDF file, so I didn't get very far through it. And I'm not sure if there was different categories for knit versus sewn and crochet and stuff, but there was a spinning section there, so we're gonna see. They said that almost all of it was, a lot of the first place in the spinning was all the same place, and they didn't think the yarns looked particularly good. So I guess I'm going to go see if I can find the parameters for what the spinning was, because I know a lot of art yarns aren't going to be what one would traditionally think of as a yarn, but that's what they're supposed to be. So that will be interesting. I doubt I would do anything crochet or knitwise because I think that's probably a very filled level of the state. I mean, we're not talking our county fair, we're talking state, because I looked at our county fair and it was only children level things. I didn't see anything that was adult entries. It was all just the 4-H entries. But yeah, so that's about all that's been going on here. We just got done with our friends at the fair, and then now I am trying to finish up Cal's, which I will pretty much be doing till the end of this month because there are lots, and I haven't really done a whole lot, or at least it doesn't feel like it, this entire summer. Stash Dash ends the 27th, I believe. Because I don't think it was the 25th. I think it started the 25th and ends the 27th. And yeah, still really hurting on that. And I might just have to like copy my post and delete it and post it in a different level because there's no way that I am going to get to the 15K mark. Yeah, just not going to happen because I have too many things that are like in progress that are just not going to get done. They might get done by the end of the month, but just not by the 27th, which is really sad because that's only like 3 days difference. 4 days? 5 days? But yeah, just not gonna happen. And anyways, so yeah, that's all I had to share today. I just wanted to get it done so that I could share with you what I'm working on, because it could be I won't actually get this shared again for another couple weeks because we start school pretty soon. I think the kids go back on the 23rd. Jeremy has orientation or whatever for middle school on the 21st, and all that is right around the corner. So anyways, guys, as always, you can find me on social media as either Hooked on Mo's or Mo's Crochet, and I know everything's pretty much at a standstill because life is busy. My Etsy shop is still on vacation and the kids shop is still up. But anyways, guys, if you liked this episode, I hope you hook the like button and subscribe. Talk to you later, guys.